Hey, what's up guys? I'm Travis from Second Chance Canine. Today I want to talk to you about what you need to have for your high drive Malinois. Hey, so a lot of times people ask me, hey, what do I really need to have when I'm running a high drive dog? Either, a hunting dog or a sport dog, Malinois that you're kind of, Malinois, German Shepherd, Dutch Shepherd, whatever kind of dog you're running. This is kind of just going to be a real basic overview of what it is that I kind of carry and what our needs are for the rescue. Hey, so we stick to the high drive dogs. So, I have a very specific list of things that I like. And everything varies. You might like something a little different than I do. You might have a different technique than I do. That's all good, man. I love it all. I like to start at the dog and work my way to the person as far as equipment goes. So for us, let's go ahead and start. I like a collar, right? So a lot of the dogs that we get, they'll come with their flat collar. I'm not a fan. Flat collars are one of the things that's great for hanging your rabies tags on and your locator tag, but we microchip every one of our dogs. So if something happens and one of our dogs gets lost, if it ends up at the animal shelter or a vet, it's going to come back to us. It's going to have a tag on it that brings it back to us. The reason I'm not a big fan of flat collars is because it puts your high drive dog into drive. So if you think about a sledding dog has a lot of equipment that pulls right here on its shoulders and pulls right here on the front of its chest. Well, that's exactly what you're doing. So if your dog's pulling on you, maybe switch to this training collar that we use from Petco. So we use a slip collar. It's a chain slip collar with the nylon inside. That helps save the fur and keeps it from pinching them. But if you want to put your dog into obedience, the way you put your dog into obedience is you just clip the single ring, right? And then it's around their neck. It gives them a little audible warning that, hey, I'm not being good. I'm being kind of naughty, when it zips, when they go to run off. And if you want to put them in drive, say you're doing something like tracking or working with your high drive dog where you want it to be chasing a bird or something like that, then just put it on what we call the dead ring. And that's where there's no choking action. There's no slip to the collar. It just simply it's a dead ring. It just kind of puts them in drive. It pulls real hard on their chest. So for us, our dogs wear these all the time. I never know when I'm going to need to put my dog on a leash, if somebody new is coming over, or if I'm going to run out and take the dog for a walk with me. So our dogs live in their slip collars. They just live in them all the time. Makes it easy for us to do obedience work. It makes it easy for us to do training with them. They do not live in their flat collars. When I put a dog in a flat collar, I still hook my dog up to the slip collar. So let's go to the flat collars that I prefer. So if you are going to use a flat collar, I like one with a handle, right? So if I'm going to use a flat collar and I'm going to do training with my dog and I want to put it in drive, I want the ability to hold on to that dog. So I want to be able to kind of keep that dog restrained, keep it from, especially with newer dogs, keep them from jumping on people. You can kind of force them into sit mode. So I like these flatter collars with the Cobra buckles. They're very robust. They're very easy to use with the dogs. They're very easy to get on and off because of this buckle. When you have these crazy Malinois like we do, sometimes plastic's not the right answer. So I definitely get these higher end flat collars that have the ability. They're adjustable. So guys, if you're going to run a flat collar, run something a little bit more high-end. Run something that, especially if you're running Malinois, is kind of what we specialize in. Something that has a handle. There's a way that you can put your dog into drive by linking up to this bad boy. This one actually has an e-collar with it. So let's talk about e-collars next. All right, e-collars, guys. E-collars is one of those things that I super highly recommend that you go seek out training, right? Just don't go and throw your dog on an e-collar and expect it to just understand and know what you're thinking, right? E-collars can be very dangerous for dogs. So please find some training, watch some YouTube channels, seek out your local clubs before you just throw your dog on an e-collar. For me personally, when I'm starting a dog on an e-collar and I'm training that dog wears the e-collar for 2 weeks before it even kind of starts getting into the training mode of how to respond to that e-collar. especially when I've got a brand new dog. I let them just kind of wear it. They get used to having it on. They get used to it being around. I might start using the audible or the vibrations about a week in. But really, guys, I just let them get used to it at first. E-collars it's just like anything else. It's just a tool. So I kind of prefer the Garmin. I've used the Garmin throughout my military career. It's never failed me. So I'm a big fan of the Garmin e-collars. The more robust ones, I can run 3 dogs with this Garmin. So if I'm out in a situation where I'm going to train 3 different dogs, instead of pulling the collar off and switching, I can just toggle between 3 dogs on this. So that's super good for me. The alert button is right here, so if I'm actually trying to get the dog to look for something, I can just buzz it and it looks up and it comes back to me. Or if I'm going to try and give it a command at a distance, I can give him a little buzz or a tone, and I train my dogs to know that that's a response that I'm looking for. So e-collars are really good, guys. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of training on them. Please seek out training with them. The Garmin ones are great. This is a little bit more high-end trainer style, and this is something that like you might see just your everyday dog wearing. They last a really long time. The batteries do. They're just awesome. It's an awesome tool. But you can also really screw a dog up with an e-collar. So please seek out training. The other ones that I like to have around, guys, is a bark collar. We do live in a neighborhood. We run this nonprofit, this rescue out of our backyard. So we try to be respectful of all of our neighbors. So anytime we know we're not going to be around for a while, we put a bark collar on our dogs, and we started in training mode. There's like several modes that you can put these guys on, and it's very traumatic for the dog if you just put it in the harshest mode and throw them outside and they don't understand what they're being shocked for. So we started in training mode where it gives them a warning before it shocks them, and then it escalates. So please read the manuals on these, but bark collars are really good to keep in happy neighbors. The Garmin one that I like to run kind of has it built in. It'll run electricity or e-collar, and it also is an integrated bark collar. All right, so let's go to leashes next. All right, guys, so we talked about the collars and things that are around the dog's neck. Let's go to leash, right? Because that's the very next thing in this step. So for me, I run a lot of dogs, right? And I do a lot of training with my dogs, and so I like a biothane leash. Biothane leashes have been around for a few years now. They didn't have them when I was a dog handler in Special Forces, but they do now, and I love them. I think biothane is the way to go. Of course, I still have my trusty leather leash from my old handler days, but man, these biothane leashes, you can't beat them. I like to take the dog swimming. Sasha, come here, Sasha. Sasha, come here. I like to take the dogs swimming. I like to take the dogs out just all over the place. Hiking, you name it, we do it. You can think of it, we do it. With my leashes, I like to let them drag a little bit. So if I let a dog off leash or I'm testing a new dog, I'll let them drag their leash. And so with the biothane leashes, it's really not, it's awesome because the biothane leashes just wash right off. I just get a wet washcloth and I can wipe them off. So I like a couple different lengths. I like a 30-foot leash and I like a 6-foot leash. 6-foot leash is when I'm doing traveling, when I'm with my dog full time and he and I are just doing cool stuff together. And then I also keep a 30-foot leash on me at all times so that if I want to go hiking or if I want to give the dog the ability to have a little bit of a distance from me, I keep a 30-footer. Amazon just got this biothane leash from Amazon. It's really great stuff. One of our patrons sent this to us, so super awesome, guys. Biothane is the way to go because you can sterilize it, you can clean it very easily, and they last forever. Now, dogs can chew on them just like leather leashes, and they tend to chew on them if you leave them laying around because it feels good on their teeth. Leather and this biothane is like, it's just fun to gnaw on, so make sure you keep them up. Outside of the biothane, I also like just a 30-footer. So 30-foot leash, and you can see I have a couple of them here. I keep a 30-footer on me no matter where I go. If you have a dog who's running off or running away from you, a 30-foot leash is the way to kind of teach them to have a proximity to you, to teach them that, hey, you know, it's not okay all the time to be taking off and to be not listening. So with the 30-foot leash, you can let them get out at the end of the leash, and once they get out to the end, if I either just stop or if I change directions, that leash is going to alert them and it's going to let them know, hey, I'm turning directions, you know, and they're going to come follow me. Leashes are super important, guys. They're one of the things that I find what you like. There's so many different styles and brands, but for me, it's biothane because we're kind of a professional level kennel. And so I always want to have something that I can keep clean. That way I'm not transferring disease or anything like that to my dogs. Not a fan of chain leashes. Sometimes you'll see like a chain leash with like a nylon handle and a clip at the end. Those are really hard to handle if your dog's acting up or acting out. So kind of stay away from those. Just one of those things, you know, you want to have, ultimately you want to have the control of the dog. And with biothane, you know, I can wrap a biothane leash around my hand if a dog's acting up, or if another dog, kind of more likely the case, is acting up and comes at your dog, I have the ability to kind of move my dog out and kind of control what I'm responsible for, which is my dog. Speaking of that, if your dog is approached by another dog off leash, guys, just get out of there as fast as you can. 9 times out of 10, it's going to turn bad. Especially with unrestrained dogs, you just have no control of that dog. So, you know, either keep a really good leash on you. That collar comes in handy when you can kind of pick your dog up and get him out of the fray. But yeah, guys, an unrestrained dog is never a good thing, in my opinion. Hey, so, you know, talking about leashes, whenever you go to the airport with a service dog, and I have to train all of my veterans on this, you will have to go through TSA, and you will have to kind of go through the security checkpoints and stuff like that in order to get into the, you know, into the airport. It's important that we, as you know, prepared and ready handlers, we're ready for that. So guys, if you're running a service dog, or if you're running a dog that needs to go travel a lot and go through those situations, I recommend keeping a length of rope, just rope. That way you can pull their collar off, and you can just kind of loop them with the rope and get them through the checkpoint. There's going to be a lot of people trying to touch your dog. There's going to be a lot of people moving around. So keeping your dog restrained is still really important, just because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if somebody's going to come over and accidentally step on your dog, or if someone's going to try to grab your dog to move it along or something like that. So having a dog, number one, that's bomb-proof in their training is super important, and then having the ability to still maintain control of your dog is the second part that's really important. And that's where just a length of rope, non-metallic, as you're going through the checkpoint, will not spark anything. So really kind of the last thing as far as like the dog and the handler would be a vest, right? So for me, I'm really trying to exercise my dogs. I'm taking my dogs into public. I'm trying to make them be all about being out and about. So for me, I keep all of my dogs, especially the service dog candidates, in vests. I don't have it on here now, but with a vest, you can put, you know, your notes on there: do not pet, you know, please ask to pet, you know, anything like that you want to advertise, so people just don't kind of randomly come up and harass or mess with your dog. So yeah, I like a vest with a little bit of Velcro on it, so that I can add those either warning signs or indicators that say, hey, you know, like, I'm working right now, leave me, you know, please ask my handler if you can pet me, or something like that. I've been messing with the Signature Canine vest series here lately. I am looking forward to, we're getting a Recon Canine vest coming in, and I'm really looking forward to that one, because it's just robust. It's awesome. It's the one, these are kind of like assaulter level, for lack of a better term, vests, you know, like, this is something I definitely would have seen when I was going overseas, but that doesn't mean you can't rock it. I like this Signature Canine because it's got multiple attachment points. If you're doing tracking, like I said, if you're working your dog, this has the ability to kind of keep track of that dog. When I'm hanging out with my dog and he's pulling me on a skateboard, he'll wear this vest, and instead of hooking up to his neck that could, you know, choke him out or put a lot of pressure on his neck, I'll go ahead and I'll run that line to his D-ring right here, and that way it's putting all that pressure on his shoulders, and it's making him want to pull me more, instead of wanting to, you know, kind of make it harder on him. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. You know, the other thing too is, like I talked about earlier with leashes and collars and stuff, if your dog does get into a fray or a fight with another dog, when it's wearing a vest, you have that ability to kind of pick them up and get them out of that fight. It's just one of those, guys, just keep your dogs on leashes, you know, like if you're out hiking or something like that and you know someone's coming, call your dog back, put them on a leash. But it's just dog etiquette, you know. I like these. Just understand that you might have to strip your dog down if you are traveling and going through any kind of checkpoints. This one's kind of cool because it has a lot of adjustment. in the lower body portion so that I can kind of take in all that slack. I've got, my dogs vary from 75, 80 pounds down to 45, 50 pounds, you know, so I want something that can kind of cross over all of the dogs. This one is more of a lightweight. This one's kind of got a little more robustness to it. It's got the, this one's more mesh, whereas this one has, you know, padding to it, like the dog's going to be carrying a load or something like that. They're both designed exactly the same. They're both really great harnesses. So just feel out what you guys like and use what you guys like. If you're simply needing it to identify your dog as a service dog, then maybe just a chest strap or a collar with service dog written on it. But if you're wanting to do some more like extreme, like, hey, climbing with your dog, or, you know, skateboarding with your dog, or, you know, needing a way that you can kind of really restrain your dog if you're, you know, off-roading or something like that, you know, think about a vest. Vests are cool. There's all the way from, you know, the $30 vest on Amazon to the $1,500, $2,000 vest from Eagle Industries, you know, so kind of find what fits for you and stick to that. I love a vest. I keep my dogs in vests whenever I'm in public. Do us a favor and hit the like and subscribe button so we can rescue more of these guys. I don't have enough dogs around me right now. I need more. You liking and subscribing, leaving comments, following our social media are all ways that you can help us spread the word and make this rescue possible. We truly appreciate and love you guys. We can't wait to hear from you. Let us know what we can do for you.